Hello there! Welcome to the Art of Confidence YouTube channel. As a proud confidence coach and your passionate host, I am here to help you get confidence not just in front of the camera, but in life as well. And today I'm going to start by talking about creation. No, not the mysteries of life, as much as I would like to stay and talk about that for the entire time, but more about something that you will be creating to help you go through your freeze-ups. And that little freeze-up before the word freeze-up, that was meant to be there. It was part of the video, just to teach you a lesson. Not a mistake. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting into a rattle here with the freezing up kind of thing. So when it comes to freezing up, it happens in video, but we can always go back and delete it and do it again. So it's not that big of a deal. But when you're in live streams like Periscope, when you host webinars, and when you're in Google Hangouts and you cannot go back, that's when freezing up becomes an issue because you can't really edit yourself live. So think about it. We freeze up on our everyday life. Whenever we're speaking to a friend and we forget something, this is how it goes. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, I forgot what I was gonna say. That really sucks, right? But after we freeze up, we naturally have something to say and kind of cover that gap. So what we're going to be creating, it's a little flow tool to help you flow through your webinars and live streams whenever you freeze up. This way you know that if it happens, you have something to say. How does that sound? So now that you know that freezing up is not the issue, but not knowing what to say is, then let's talk about what we can do to fill that gap between freezing up, completely going blank, and then continuing on, because that will help you through this process. These are 5 things that I typically say and they tend to help me, but you can continue creating your own flowchart after I'm done. And if you do want to have this in your inbox so you can print it out and have it in front of you for your next webinar or your next Periscope, just sign up to my newsletter and I will send that out as well this week. Also, don't forget that because you're talking to a live audience, you can be a little bit more natural and use a little bit of humor. That is okay. So here's my flowchart, and the first thing I say is, I forgot what I was going to say, but it's okay, it'll come back to me. Let's just move on to the next point. This helped a lot whenever I completely go blank, and usually most of the time it does come back to me and I refer back to what I was going to say. The next thing I can do is, if I'm ending a conversation or a slide or something like that, I take a deep breath, which is okay. And while I take that deep breath, that gives me time to think about what's coming on the next slide. So that's what I do. Take a deep breath and move on to the next thing. Next thing is, you're talking and you completely go blank. Most of the time I would say something like, I'm just looking for the right word, or something like that, because that gives me time to, number one, think about my next word and also think about what I was going to say. Next thing is, what was that called again? And that asking that question gives you a time to answer your own question, gives the audience a time to answer your question. And if you can't really figure it out in that small time frame, you can always go back to, you know what, it's okay, I'll come back to it, it will come back to me. And then the last thing is, because you're talking to a live audience, they know that you're a human being, so you're allowed to just take a deep breath and be like, okay guys, I've been talking for a while, so just give me a second, let me take a sip of water, take a deep breath, and then we'll keep going. And you take a few seconds, 10-20 seconds, to just reground yourself and think about what you're going to say next. So these 5 things allow me to always have something to say if I freeze up, and it really does help tremendously. So sign up to my newsletter if you want to receive them so you can print them out. Now continue, keep writing down things that will help you and that feel natural to you, because this will really help you in the process of freezing up. And a lot of the times we freeze up because we're afraid of freezing up, so tackling this fear and knowing that it's okay to freeze up because you have something to say will also help you stop freezing up overall. And remember that freezing up is normal. So as long as you know how to fill up that gap, you're all good and ready to put yourself out there. And lastly, if you would like to establish a deeper connection, join my newsletter galaxy where I share even more tips, tools, and personal stories that will help you become the most confident person you know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Art of Confidence TV.